Core TV News, expanding your view.
All right, let's get down to business this Monday. Ahead of the 2015 general elections, we promised you to bring you all the news, the views, the in-depth review and analyses before, during, and of course after the elections. This Monday, we're going to, where do I say we're going to now? But let's kickstart from Lagos. That's where we are. I'm joined now on set by the minority whip of the Senate. And of course, just last month, thereabout, he officially declared his intention to seek the nomination as a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, to contest the 2015 governorship election in Lagos State. I'm talking about Senator Ganiu Olanrewaju Solomon. Good morning, Senator.
Yeah, good morning, Ifeanyi.
And thank you for joining us on Call Digest. Now, let me quickly intimate you that this show is based on a national platform, and we have viewership across almost every state in Nigeria. So I'm going to be switching from Lagos to your role as a senator.
Okay.
I hope you oblige me.
No problem.
I learned yesterday thereabout that you're not a newcomer into the politics of Nigeria. You've actually been active in Nigerian politics since 1998 thereabout, where you were elected as a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly.
97.
1997,
Yeah, that's right.
but unfortunately you didn't take up that seat before Abacha died. In your own informed opinion, how would you describe what has become of the Nigerian politics in its 15 years of democracy?
Well, in the 15 years of our present experience, I think we're growing politically. We've been able to cross some hurdles. I remembered vividly 2003 when we were having the first election not supervised by the military. There was this feeling that it might bring Nigeria to a standstill, but we were able to overcome that. We had a successful election. Say there might be irregularities here and there, which eventually went to court and so on. But this came to its highest point in 2007. That was when we had to change from one government to another, because by 2007 Obasanjo finished his 8th year, and there was this feeling that it was going to be very, very difficult. There was going to be a lot of bloodshed and so on and so forth. But again, we crossed the order successfully. So in that regards, politically, I think we're making progress. Some may say the progress is very slow, and some may also say that it's fraught with a lot of irregularities. But talking about political development, I think we're making some progress. That has got nothing to do with the economic, it's associated to its economic development. We may still have some questions. We may also have questions when it comes to the societal development, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. But isolating political development, I think we are making progress. The electorates are becoming more enlightened. They now ask questions rather than the way it used to be. That okay, bring whoever you want. Right now, I think we are developing. Yes, we may not agree on the pace, but I believe very strongly that we're making some progress.
One of the major challenges with in Nigeria now is this challenge of terrorism in the name of insurgency, or whatever it is we call it. I have had quite a number of people on the show who have also asked the Senate questions. For instance, Nigerians are waiting to hear what Mr. President will say about the emergency rule in the 3 of the northeastern states. But the last time this emergency rule was extended, the Senate called the Nigerian army and talked about the service chiefs and talked about giving account on a continuous basis as regards the development in these areas. How far do you think the Senate was able to meet up with that?
Well, the standing committee of the Senate, apart from the old Senate,
Okay.
I've met with the service chiefs and the NSA and the defense minister and so on and so forth for briefing on the situation
All right.
in the northern part of the country. And I think as long as we've not put the insurgency in check, we cannot say we've made any remarkable mark. And they continue to brief us. Some of their briefing they regard as classified because of its nature. However, our role is very limited to providing money for the execution of the project, if you call it that. And we are also obliged to also follow it up to make sure that such money is well spent. However, we are in a sort of emergency situation where we cannot, for now, say, okay, you just collected a loan for 1 billion. What have you done with it? Because they are still doing the exercise.
I see.
But what we can do now is collect briefs from them from time to time. I think one was there just last week where they will tell us what their limitations are, what they think they've done, what they think should be done. And we've been very supportive. But given the nature of what we're discussing, we when it comes to issue of security, there's a provision in our rules that we take it behind the camera so that certain things are not
I
discussed
understand.
openly. But on our own, I think we are trying our best to make sure that we give necessary support. The issue is that of the execution, because we cannot take a blame that is not ours. It's the duty of the executive to make sure that the right things are done. There's no time, no single time when a request was made for funds and we turned the executive down, because we know the imports of what is happening.
Okay.
And we are also not very happy with the situation. It's something we think should have been put behind us long time ago.
But how will you describe the relationship between the Senate and the service chiefs in the light of all of these challenges?
Well, the relationship, what will I say? We have different roles to play, and our relationship with them is that of a part of an executive and the
Because
legislature.
recently we saw something that looked like a drama between certain senators and the chief of army staff who came to represent Alex Bade, who would not speak to the media. Many have questioned if indeed there was a working relationship between both parties, because it looked more like a drama.
Well, whatever you say, we still have some problem. Some people on the part of the executive feels that coming to the Senate or the House of Representatives is obliging us and is also indulging us. No, it's a constitutional provision. Anything we do is backed up by the Constitution. We have the mandate, we have the power, and the Constitution also gives us the power to call on anybody. If we appropriate money to you, you are bound to come and explain how you spend such money. And in our oversight function too, we can also visit you, because we want to see what you've done with the money given to you. And if your creation also, if you come into existence through the law of the National Assembly, which means National Assembly can also call you to order. Apart from that, National Assembly also has the duty, because it legislates for the good governance of the whole country. So we still need to do a lot of orientation for our people. There's no need to have a drama between the legislator and
And of course,
any department, ministry, or agency.
Senator Ganiu Olanrewaju, and you're also known as Ghost, right?
That's right.
Did I get that right? Now, you've had a very interesting political career. During the return of democracy in 1999 with the Nigerian Fourth Republic, you were elected chairman of Mushin local government area.
That's right.
In 1999.
That's
And in 2003, you also ran for the Federal House of Assembly for
Yes, sir.
Mushin Federal Constituency 1,
That's
which
right.
you were elected. In 2007 also, you were elected to the Senate
That's it.
on the platform of the Action Congress,
That's
and
it.
you returned
2011.
uncontested in 2011 as well. Of course, you won them unopposed in
At
a
the
bid
party, that
at the
was at the
party
party
level,
level.
exactly,
Yeah.
at the party level. But interestingly, for 15 years of our democracy, you've been actively in policy. I mean, in
That's right.
politics. I would have thought that by now you just hand the baton over to someone like me. But on a more serious note, many are asking that if you're running for governorship, shouldn't you give the chance to someone else if you've been actively involved for the past 15 years?
Okay, thank you very much. If you're talking of giving the chance to somebody else, is presupposes that you are somewhere and you want to give the chance to another person. So the only seat I have now is the Senate, and I intend to give it to somebody else. And what do? There's progression. I mean, if you have a calling, if you have a vocation, if you have a profession, if you have anything you are in,
Okay.
you want to progress. I mean, if for instance you join the police force, somehow you are a constable, you want to rise, and so on and so forth. If you are in the civil service, you also want to rise, maybe till you get to the head of service and what have you. So just put me in the same position. There's progression. And since there is a periodic election, the essence of periodic election is to return to your constituency. Are they going to give you the mandate that, okay, yeah, we're still backing you, we still have confidence in you, you can move ahead? And that is exactly what has been happening in my case, with all sense of humility. Every time I go back to my constituency, they say, yes, we want you, just go ahead.
But
So there's,
would you consider yourself as an occupational politician?
oh yes, I'm a politician to the core. Because one, the law even does not allow you to do anything else if you hold public office.
Okay.
So if in 15 years I've been having one position or the other, which means in 15 years I don't have any other thing.
So you
that I
probably
do.
would not ascribe to the call for part-time legislature by the National Conference.
Oh, it's a different thing altogether. It's a different thing altogether. If we think that that will save us cost, but right now, I think we need a lot of stability, and this is because each time there were military rule, the first institution to ban is was always the parliament
Okay.
throughout the country. So the development, the rate of development of the legislature has got stunted somehow because of the incessant military coup. So we at this point need a lot of development in that regard. So if somewhere along the line we think we've stabilized enough for us to have a part-time, but again, you also need to know the workings of the legislature. I mean, presently, the way it is. And coupled with the fact that we operate the presidential system of government, it calls for full-time legislation. And I know why people are also clamoring for that. It's just to make sure that there is a cost in the running of government.
Because
everywhere.
there are opinions that senators are taking a large chunk
No,
of
we
Nigeria's money.
it's an argument that we refuse to go, and it's not going to go, and that was because of the I would say misinformation by somebody who's supposed to know, when he said that 25% of Nigerians are budgets.
But is a remuneration something of public
It
knowledge?
is. It is. Anybody can go to the Revenue and Mobilization Commission. It's a public figure. It's a public agency, and it regulates what the take home of every office holder in
It's
the
all right.
country.
You know, there are different school of thoughts who seem to
We've
have.
not. Have we finished the issue? The issue of mine wanting to go to the governorship, or are you coming back there?
I'm definitely coming back
Okay,
there.
then.
There are different school of thoughts who have placed someone like you, who have been in politics for donkey years.
Donkey, 15.
15 years, as far as Nigerian politics is concerned,
yeah.
that's donkey years, because that's all the...
No, some have been in policy in politics since
Okay.
the First Republic, and they're still in politics up
It's
to
all
now.
right. But can you survive another 4 years without being elected into any political capacity?
Oh, why not? I wasn't a politician some 20 years ago. I had my business, And as I sit here, I have my exit date. Though I've not made it public, but I have my exit date, regardless of what happened. Whether I'm in position or I'm not in position, my exit date will be my exit date. Somebody gave me an interview. I'm sure the guy must have forgotten. Sometimes in 2000, and I told him my exit date. He published it. If he still remembered it, it's still my exit date. Nothing is going to change that.
Can you give me that on this glass?
No, I'm not going to give you. I told you I'm not going to give you. But if the guy remembers and check, it will say that I gave my exit date. That was far back in 2000. Anything you do, you must have your plan. I mean, you cannot stay there perpetually. You must give opportunity to people. You also must live at a time when you can still do something very, very reasonable with yourself.
I read in one of your interview where you said categorically that you are not going back to the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
And that you said that that's settled.
Very settled. I told you when you said, is it all right for me to yield my seat to someone? I said, this is the seat I'm yielding to some other people. And quite a number of people have come to me to give them blessings, people interested in taking up my position. And I've given them the go-ahead.
But what are your chances at the governorship primaries with the APC?
Very bright, very bright. I'm not looking at it with in a pessimistic way. And with all sense of humility, I have studied what is on the ground. You also must be able to read the situation very well before you jump into any situation you have. I think I've done enough reading, and this is not the first time I'm giving it a shot. I started 2005, 2006 for the 2007 election, and so I'm not totally new in this race for Lagos State governorship.
Would you be disappointed if you failed to get the APC ticket?
No, because at the end of the day, if there's a free, fair, transparent primaries and I'm defeated, so be it.
And you still be with the APC?
Yes, I'm not even asking anybody to give me any kind of compensation because I opened my eyes wide before I jump into it. And that should be the same situation with everybody.
You know, there are strong insinuations as regards to dictatorial leadership within the defunct ACN and the possibility of not having a healthy internal democracy within the APC. How would you describe the way it is now in Lagos?
Well, I'm counting on several things. I'm counting on several factors. One, our leaders at inception, when we were thinking of merging the parties together, some of them, without prompting, made the issue of internal democracy a selling point of the new party. They said it anywhere they went that was a very, very paramount to the new party, and I believe they won't go back on their words, and the whole world is also watching. The second aspect is we should also not take for granted the dynamism in politics and the interest of the electorate now in the process that bring forth the party's candidates. And we should not take that for granted. Even the party members too, they are also eager. And taking our party, we suddenly become a mega party. It's almost at par with the ruling party, PDP. And we now have different people in the party. Even we open our door, we also have activists. And right now, we have different thinking within the parties. What the party's members are saying right now is we want to be part of the process that is going to throw up our party candidates. Nobody is not going to give us a candidate and say, okay, this is your candidate, go and vote for him, and this is your anointed, go and do this or that. So, no, I don't think that is they are acceptable.
What exactly would you say are the reasons that inspire your dream to become the next governor of Lagos? Why do you want to become a governor?
First is the issue of service. I joined politics, and I felt at any point in time we must have able hands that are interested in taking the state to the next level.
Okay.
There's no doubt that governance is no tea party, is no child play. If you want to rule, if you want to govern, you must be ready and you must have everything it takes to render service. So I have that passion to serve, and I believe that Lagos has been blessed with good administrators over the years, from the military to civilians and so on. So, and whoever wants to take it over from the present governor must be prepared for that. So I have that urge, I have that passion, and I've been pursuing it since I entered into politics. It's not something I just woke up one day and I felt, okay, why don't I give this a try? No, it's something I've been nursing from the inception.
But
And I also have the support of my fellow party members and electorates.
talking about support of party members, are you in the know that a particular name has been endorsed by the Oba of Lagos? It made the news earlier this year. Are you threatened by that?
No, 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 not a little bit, not a little bit. And with due respect to the KBC, what he did was to exercise his right of choice, and to also exercise his right to make public his preference.
Okay.
And that is where it ends. I mean, as the KBC, I don't see him as a member of a party, and he has no mandate of the party to
But
nominate.
is it influential?
Well, maybe we don't want to put to test the level of your influence at any point in time.
How will you describe the level of the influence of traditional rulers in the Lagos politics?
Well, to the extent that they are integral parts of the state, yes, they may have a say as to where do we go. But in the final analysis, it's the electorates that have the final say. And in the choice of candidates, we are saying that it should be the party members. But now let's go to the issue of the electorates being the final. Every vote has an equal weight. It's just a one, every vote. And that is why they go about saying that every vote must count. Your vote has equal weight as my vote. The vote of the president of this country has equal weight as that of the ordinary person. So, and if you can convince enough people to vote for a particular candidate, then the candidate may win. And doing that, I think what he did too, you also witness the kind of reactions that greeted that act. It's like people are not agreeable to the manner. Not It's not about the candidate. Maybe it's not about the candidate, but the manner it was done. Then they now have to go back to the candidate. What are we talking about? Can somebody just put somebody on us and tell everyone, other person, that okay, you have to go and sit down, and there's nothing that's going to happen, whether you like it or not. This is the next person. No, it's I don't want to describe how that sounded or what it actually was, because that, again, after all said and done, is still a KBC, is a revered KBC. Yes, he may have made a mistake. A mistake it was. There's no doubt about that, and he will still realize that. I mean, he shouldn't. Are we not all his subjects?
Is the support in your bid anyway significant to you winning or otherwise this election?
Is what?
Is support to your bid, is it relevant to your chances in this particular governorship race?
The support to my bid?
The support of the Oba to your election.
Oh, if he had supported me.
Is support to you or otherwise?
Yes.
What impact do you think?
Oh, support to me or otherwise?
Yes.
No, because I've done a little analysis of what really matters. What really matters is, how do I stand within my party members? How do I stand within the electorate? The ultimate deciders of what is going to happen.
Okay.
I'm going to leave Lagos briefly and go to some other states. We've had situation in some states where paramount rulers failed to support a particular candidate, and the candidate turned out to win. It has happened here, even in Lagos, but I won't mention names. So it's not an issue to me. One, is not going to affect my relationship with him, but I know that his support or otherwise will in no way affect my chances.
Which of the concepts would you favor now? Would it be a consensus arrangement, which has always been the characteristic of your party?
No,
Or
no. We have a new
primary
party.
election?
We have a PC. Maybe when you talk about our party, you are talking about the ACN.
The
You are
defunct
talking.
ACN.
No, we are having a brand new party now, a mega party, a party of so many parties
Okay.
together. So, and it's not going to happen. And you cannot talk of consensus. When you talk of consensus, how do you define consensus as a concept? How? Then how do you operationalize it? Are you going to do consultation from top to the grassroots, or are you going to start from the grassroots? Are you going to consult far and wide to arrive at a consensus candidate?
Okay.
It's subjective. Okay, or are we going to have consensus based on the aspirant themselves coming together to say, okay, let's have one person? Because the moment you come up with a name as a consensus candidate, if an individual, one of the aspirants says no, you are bound to go for the primaries. Okay. And right now, we've started the process of a relationship with the party. We've collected letter of intent. We've collected a nomination form. That means we've started a relationship. We've told them we are interested. So you cannot come up tomorrow and say, okay, we have a consensus candidate without consulting me. No, you can't do that. And that is playing out at the federal level, at the presidential level. You had some candidates saying, some aspirants saying, no, we are not in for any consensus, anything. They should just get ready for primaries. We should even try to imbibe this internal democracy.
Well, you know, I find it hard to understand you when you say you believe in the leadership of your party to ensure that a primary election arrangement is made. Because I recall what happened in 2003. You were a contender to be AD Senate candidate for Lagos West. But you were defeated by the incumbent Senator Tokunbo Afikuyomi, right? And we had somewhat of violent reaction to the result of that election. You recall that Governor Bola Tinubu was unable to leave the scene of the vote for several hours as mob battled with police and all of that happened outside. Later, you later ran instead for the Federal House of Assembly. Where is your faith coming, given the experience you've had in the past?
Great. I said we've gone through a lot of stages. I said from initial that we've gone through a lot of stages and that we are also progressing. Okay. We are developing. Those are part of the history. Those are part of our experiences. Even we had similar experience in 2007 when the incumbent governor was brought. And like I said, those are the old orders. We are now in a new era. We cannot continue to do it the same way. And even 2003, what were we fighting? We were saying, don't just bring anybody. You can't do that. Let there be primaries. And we all knew what happened that day. What kind of primaries were held. And that is why right now we're getting wiser. We know what could happen. And we're saying that, okay, we are also trying to make sure that we close all holes that could be used to permit me to say, to manipulate the situation in favor of anybody.
Well, my guest on the show this Monday is the minority whip of the Senate, Senator Ganiu Olanrewaju Solomon. We're going to take a short commercial break now. When we come back, I'd love to ask him what exactly his plans would be for Lagos in 2015. Stick around, don't go away.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Professor.
My former students.
Happy birthday.
Every day, life is made better by the moments of surprise we create for others and for ourselves. Be better. Surprise someone this season and make sure to text 11 to 400 to get a surprise from MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Has it been a difficult task for you to purchase exquisite, classic, durable, and sturdy furniture that will last the test of time? Here is good news for you. Purchase high-quality furniture for your household, offices, hotels, and schools at Prince Interior Furnishing and Furniture Company Limited. Office address, Goshen Plaza, Showroom 28, Kubo Furniture Market, AYA, Nyanya Road, Abuja. Telephone 0803 119 1444 or 09291 7482. Email princeemeka240@yahoo.com. info@princeinterior.com. Website www.princeinterior.com. Purchase your furniture at Prince Interior Furnishing and Furniture Company Limited. Classic, strong, exquisite.
Welcome back. You're watching Cool Digest, exclusive to Cool TV News. For sponsorship, partnership, and placement of your advertorials, you can check up on us on any of the numbers that will scroll on your screen. Well, I still have the senator right here with me, Minority Whip of the Senate, Senator Ganiu Solomon. Thank you very much for staying the course on the show today. You know, proponents of consensus arrangement have always been of the opinion that primary elections are costly, and it also favors people like you who are incumbents, you know what I'm talking about, for economic reasons. They call you money bags in court, that you have enough money to throw around. How do you react to that? Because I believe that worked against you in 2003. You were actually competing with an incumbent.
No. It didn't work against me because I was competing with an incumbent. In the case of this present arrangement, I'm not an incumbent because I'm not in government as a governor. Yes, I'm in the Senate. And in 2003 too, we all knew what happened. We had Olanrewaju Tinubu pressing at the event and saying that everybody, it was an open ballot, and it was very difficult for people to vote where he was against where he was. And but the issue of incumbency at times could even be a burden, and we've seen that happen. Yes, maybe during primaries they can muzzle some other opponents out, particularly the governors. But when it comes to general elections, we've had situations where incumbents were actually defeated. But the issue of the primaries being expensive and thereby resulting to consensus, like I said, consensus is subjective, and it also deprives the party members of taking part in an exercise that is legitimately theirs, because it's the duty of party members to bring among themselves the flag bearer, the party flag bearer, no matter what the expenses are. And what are we trying to do now? We're trying to tell party members that they should make sure that the votes, they should not sell their votes, it should not go to the highest bidder. They should vote according to their conscience. So
indeed, there are bidders. There are people who give money out to delegates.
No. There may be that tendency. That tendency is everywhere. But it's not for us to tell them that no, you don't have to go through that route. vote according to your conscience.
Okay.
Look, when I address people, I tell them that, look, if at the end of the day you think you don't want me, vote whoever you want. I'm coming to you asking for your votes, asking for your support. But it's also important for you to know that you should not encourage anybody to give you money so that you can vote in a particular way and manner. Vote according to your conscience, so that at the end of the day, at least you'll be satisfied with yourself that at least you voted the way your conscience
Just a minute,
dictates to you.
Senator. We have a caller now. We'll open our phone lines for callers to participate. And our first caller on the show today would be Thomas. Good morning, Thomas, calling from Abuja.
Hello?
Good morning. Go ahead with the contribution.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's Thomas from Abuja.
Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Go ahead with the contribution, Thomas.
Yeah. I can see my governor sitting down.
Thank you very much.
I said I can
he's
see
not
my
the governor.
my governor sitting down.
Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, in 2003, my heart was so full of seeing you in the government house of Lagos.
Thank you.
But I know by this time around, I hope you will do well, because I know you are in support of a good party. And by what is going on now, I know. I don't know what's right now in 2015, because our hope to see you in 2003, but God give us another governor, which is Fashola. But I hope what you are going to do for us now, I hope you will do the good things for us, because that is what we Lagosian we need it.
Thomas. Thank you for your contribution. I believe you made your point there. But let me also remind you that the incumbent governor of Lagos State is Obatemi Fashola.
Yes.
The distinguished senator is the governorship aspirant in Lagos. But talking about the Fashola administration, APC, or perhaps the defunct ACN, has also been in power here for about close to 16 years thereabout. But beyond the glories and beyond the positive news, there are also other school of thoughts. Let me read this excerpt for you. In nearly 8 years of his tenure, Fashola has expended nearly 4 trillion naira in revenue, both internally generated revenue and federal receivables. That anyone would agree is a colossal sum, enough to transform Lagos into an African miracle. Now, this school of thought is of the opinion that possibly the APC administration in Lagos is being overhyped, and that it's just a milking cow for the APC, so to speak. What are your reactions?
No,
to this school of thought?
I don't want to agree. First, I don't have records to repute the figure given. I don't have that record. But I want to refer you to what is on the ground. I mean, you can talk of certain.
Let me just hold you for a minute, Senator. Please just hold your thought there. We have another call. Good morning, Tolani. Are you there? Tolani is calling from Ojo in Lagos.
Good morning. Very sorry, calling from Ojo. I'm talking to this my recent governor, the very best. We always look up to you as a role model, and we wish you. I'm praying for you. We wish the best for you. I'm praying for you. So by the Almighty Allah, by this time, to you to the next governor of peace. You wish the very best of your star. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Well,
Please go
quickly,
ahead.
before I go back to your question, maybe I should also acknowledge Thomas.
Okay.
And he said he hoped that I can do as much as BRF is currently doing. I'm making a promise, and I'm making this promise to the whole of Nigeria, that I will surpass whatever achievement that BRF leaves at the end of his tenure.
What exactly are your blueprints for?
Great. I want to summarize that in just one sentence, we want a better life for Lagosian.
Okay.
We intend to take Lagos to the next level. We've done a study of all administration from Mobolaji Johnson till BRF. Every administration has a very good point. Some has more than others, but everything put together, we take Lagos to higher step. And you cannot say that, okay, BRF has done this, and you come on board and you want to manage what he has done, trying to just do exactly what is done. You must come up with innovations. You must improve. And Lagos is growing much more than every other state, even some other countries. And that makes it the mega city. So you must be working towards that. So that government is several steps ahead of individuals. And all this we want to do, I mean, we can start to enumerate in the areas of, first and foremost, the youth empowerment. And youth, maybe you also want to talk about women empowerment. We have an army of unemployed youth, and they are growing by the day. We need to do something on that, and it is the duty of the leaders. I'm part of the leaders, I agree. We must prepare them for the role expected of them tomorrow. So we have a lot.
Let me just hold it for a minute, Senator. We have Samson calling from Olanrewaju. Samson, are you there? Good morning, Samson.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, welcome to Cool Digest. Go ahead with the
Hello,
contribution.
good morning.
Go ahead, Samson.
Good morning, my governor.
Good morning.
I pray that God will surely lead you to that office.
Thank you very much.
And I believe that you will deliver.
Thank you.
And by special grace of God, no power, no negative power will stop you. You are going there, and you will make it in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Thank you very
God bless
much.
you.
Amen. Thank you. God bless you too.
Seem to have quite a number of followership here. And
you.
the feedback is also favoring you. I can feel how comfortable you feel right now.
Okay.
But beyond all of that, I asked you a question earlier about this school of thought that still do not believe that Lagos is meeting up to its expectation given the volume of revenue that it gets every month.
Okay, let me tell you, I belong to the APC. I'm talking frankly now. And I'm not going to sit here and criticize a government which I am part of. If there's anything that we think needs revisiting, we will not hesitate to revisit it.
Okay.
If there's any policy that we think that we need to do adjustment here and there, we will not hesitate to do that. All in the interests of the general public. We will not hesitate to do that. But right now, we're concerned with making sure that the government, till the end of his administration, at least delivers. Yes, I don't know. I don't have details of what the government will receive, but at least we can see some improvements on the ground. I mean, we can point to projects, we can point to this, and we can also point to improved services. Okay. Because when it comes to services, you cannot see them with your naked eye.
Just a minute, let's take this call. Good morning, Abubakar.
Hello?
Good morning, Abubakar. Yeah, how is Kano today?
Hello?
Go ahead, Abubakar, we can hear you.
Fine. Hello?
Abubakar, go ahead, we're with you. Well, I'm afraid there's something wrong with that line. Please, when you call in, endeavor to mute your TV set. There's a little delay between what we're saying in the studio and what you hear on your StarTimes device. So mute your TV. Let's keep the conversation on our telephone so we can do without the feedback, distortion, and all of that. For instance, one of the major points from this school of thoughts, and it's an excerpt from one of the many articles that I've read on it. It actually talks about an estimated 90% of Lagosians having no access to pipe-borne water. Nearly every household today self-provide this fundamental necessity of life by building a borehole in Lagos. Isn't that an anathema given the amount of water we have in Lagos and then the inaccessibility to potable water?
Well, as I've said, we need to revisit some issues. I remembered during the Second Republic, we had a lot of mini waterworks, that the government established. And I also know that in recent times, the government of Raji Fashola opened some other waterworks. I don't know the situation now. I was referring to the growth in the state and the government being several steps ahead of the growth instead of trying to catch up with the growth. And that is exactly part of what I'm referring to.
We have a caller from Lagos, Senator. Let's just take this from Unikpanu. Good morning, Mustafa. Sorry for having you to hold.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello? Hello?
Go ahead. Please go ahead, Mustafa, with your contribution.
Good morning, sir. I'm very, very happy for the person that they choose for government. Hello?
Hello?
Mustafa, just go ahead with the contribution. Okay? We have to work on that feedback. When you call in, once your call is acknowledged, just go ahead and make your contribution. We really would love you to do that so we can do without this feedback distortion. Okay? You were talking about...
Yes, you see, we've come to the issue of 90% of Lagos State indigenes or residents not having pipe-borne water.
Exactly.
And maybe it's an area we still need to work more. And coming here, I don't know how we come to that conclusion. And I can refer you to a situation.
Okay.
And in Lekki, for instance, Lekki Phase 1, there's a waterworks there.
Okay.
And there's also provision for residents to tap from the mains into their various houses.
Okay.
If you do a study there, quite a large number of them did not take advantage, have not taken advantage of that. Probably because of the past experiences. They felt, okay, how do we tap into the mains when we are not sure the main will run every time?
Okay.
So they, on their own, some, not all, decided that, no, let me install a borehole and provide my own little waterworks in my various houses. So, and we still have, I know very well that it's a continuous project. But I'm not in a position to. I even want to fault that it might not be up to 90%. Then we need to do more, as we've said, and we'll take note of that.
Well, let me also take you a little back to party politics. There are stories of zoning and religion. Recently, of course, you must have heard there's a particular call from a particular group of people who also have noticed that for a while now, all the governors of Lagos have been coming from a particular religious body, and they probably would want a change. What do you think this concept of zoning and religion, what role is it playing presently within your party?
Okay, I will quickly want to tell you that first and foremost, there's no provision in our constitution, our party constitution, about zoning or issue of religion. And the same thing goes for the constitution of the country, because the constitution of the country is supreme. I mean, if any constitution runs foul of the provisions of it, it becomes null and void. And if the party, if the country's constitution have no provisions for such things, then you cannot be discussing it at the party level.
Just a minute, Senator.
However,
let's take this call from Ibadan. Good morning, Sawyer. Hello, are you there?
I'm here.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, this is Fayalu from Ibadan. Good morning.
Morning, Sawyer. Go ahead with...
Yeah, my question to our Lagos after. Yeah, there are some things I've lived in Lagos several years. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, my question is that what the provision our Australia is going to provide Understand? Because there are some people, living. You guys sort of provide. There are some people living in a low prestige in that Aja. There are some people living low life in the Aja area, and there's no water side. Understand?
Well, I think it must be talking about abject poverty and probably people who do not have access to certain basic.
Yes, we've said the totality of our program is bringing better life to people of Lagos, and that will be in all ramification. And you see, we intend to have innovation. We cannot mount the rostrum and promise everything to every aspect of the states. We cannot have something that is global. What we should have is what is peculiar to a particular local government, what is peculiar to a particular community. What do they need in this community? And I believe that will work. Because if you have a one-size-fits-all solution, it may not work. And that is why it's also necessary to tour all the local governments, to tour all the community, and have what they need. And we have our men within all these communities. We know the peculiarity of every community, what they really want, what should be made in terms of provisions of infrastructure.
What peculiar to that.
And I think we will not be doing anything out of tune with the global best practices. For instance, the World Bank, before now, when they gave assistance to African countries, they just gave the money. They say, okay, what do you want to do with it? They gave out the money. But now they go out and meet with the residents
to find out what
they need.
Let me just take this call, Senator. We have John calling from Warri. Good morning, John.
I'm still hanging on.
Yeah, go ahead now, please.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah.
I just want to congratulate the man there. For what I see, it's a good product. It's a good product. And I also want to pass this message across to APC. They should base their politicking on issue. If you must defeat PDP, you must be issue B. Help me pass it across to the national level. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, for your contribution. Well, are you in any way threatened by claims by the People's Democratic Party to take over Lagos, just like it has taken over Ekiti State?
Well, we've received the threats year in, year out, every election, and we are not in any way disturbed. And I would say that is a welcome situation. It will help to put us on our toes. If you have somebody bringing down your neck and threatening that, okay, I'm after your job, the tendency for you is to want to do more work so that at least he won't have anything as an excuse for him to take over your job. So for that, I think he's welcome. I want them to be there so that they continue to prompt us, to urge us on and put us on our toes. And I believe for a long time that is going to be their role. They are not going to take over the party.
Senator Ganiu, Olanrewaju Solomon, thank you very much for joining us today on Cool Digest. And I believe this is home for you as you kickstart your campaign activities. Viewership and followership is massive. All right, I've been speaking with the Minority Whip of the Senate, Senator Ganiu Solomon. Ganiu Solomon Olanrewaju, of course, is also known as Ghost. I'm mixing the name up now. But it's Ganiu Olanrewaju Solomon. Thank you once again for coming on the show. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the relationship that now exists between religion and politics in Nigeria. How all of this will impact on the 2015 general election. Stick around, don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.